First up, we have Dr. Tony Shannon, CCIO, Leeds Teaching Hospitals, NHS Trust. I think Tony is unique in being the only dominant CCIO in the country, and you might explain that a bit later on, how that came about. His first presentation is on connecting Leeds, and then because he's a double CCIO, he's then doing a second presentation for us on a transatlantic vista on open source. I like the pun, you're clearly missing the job in journalism. That's going to be followed by Dr. William Bramley, Jack Livesey from Christie NHS Foundation Trust, and they're going to be talking about using open source at the Christie and how it supports agile software development, projects completed to date, and current portal developments. And then finally, but no means least, we have Jack Barker, CCIO at King's, who's going to be talking about how King's have developed an open source vital signs reporting application and use open source for their integration projects. Without further ado, could you welcome, please, Tony Shannon.
Okay, thanks very much. And yeah, I've been trying to squeeze two different but distinct presentations into one, so I hope that works okay for you. First is about connecting leads. And just about my background, quite a lot of you, but not everybody who knows me. So my background is emergency medicine, doctoral trained in North England, did a fellowship in the US in informatics, came back to do masters in IT management, and then began working for health for 5 years. Left that to do a role as CCIO for Leeds Hospitals, and then more laterally for Leeds Social Care, while I've been practicing as an emergency physician. And in the last few years, I've set up my own company to do some other stuff as well. Okay, so the points I'm going to get across these two presentations are that we're involved in a change movement in healthcare. It's about connecting everybody up, and that means the people in the process and the IT. We're here today to talk about the key role of open standards, the key role of open source, and I'm going to make the case for that as well as for open standards. And we're going to talk a little bit about the stuff that's happening locally, nationally, and internationally, and make the case that we are in the early days of a movement that is pivotal to the future of healthcare. We are beginning to get towards some little bit of enlightenment, and leaders will emerge from what is a little bit at the edge of chaos at the moment. Okay, so I'm just going to start with two brief stories. This one was tweeted about recently, and does anybody recognize the picture? Yes, that's right. So the story, which I wasn't familiar with, which was apparently these forceps were invented in the 1650s apparently by a obstetrician called Chamberlain, who would French Huguenot moved to London, and he I think had a royal or a very high private practice in obstetrics, but kept the invention secret for 150 years. And effectively this was found on the floorboards of the home some hundreds of years later. But for 150 years this doctor had a great private practice, but did not share this technology and what was the societal cost at the time. And as a doctor, it's a little bit of a shameful story. On the other hand, who knows who invented one of these shipping containers? Does anybody know who invented the shipping container? Okay, a guy called Malcolm McLean. Okay, 1950s, he decided that the shipping industry was a mess, very inefficient. Took days and days to move stuff from China to the Western world. Got very frustrated with it. Came up with a design for what is now known as the International Shipping Container. And of course, he could have made a lot of money by locking up the patent for this, but he didn't. He made it openly available in terms of he made it become an ISO standard. And because of that movement, the shipping container industry was revolutionized. In the 50 years before it happened, the cost of moving goods from China to the US was something like $5 per kilo, something like that. And it dropped to about 15 cents after this 50 years because of this shipping container. And this shipping container you've seen all around when you've traveled the world. It's been made available because one man stood up and made an invention open to the public, and the industry was transformed. So quite a contrast really in stories. He did make a lot of money in the end through a shipping business, and he didn't die poor by any means, but complexity of healthcare, you'll notice there's a lot of patterns. It's about people and process and technology. And the difficulty we have at the moment is we've got a lot of thinking in silos going on, a lot of teams that work independently. We're not taught in medical school how to articulate our processes, and as a result, people go and they define their processes and their requirements as all slightly unique and separate, and so they go to trade shows and buy separate standalone systems that do not interoperate. And so we have this disconnect across healthcare. And that's reflected in the state of the healthcare IT market, which is, if you look at on the left, you've got hundreds and thousands of items of different proprietary and isolated technology. On the right-hand side, you have a small number of large enterprise-wide vendors that would try to rip and replace those out. And in the middle, you have an enlightened move towards a more services-oriented architecture and integration. And I've been, if you like, involved in this industry as a doctor involved in informatics for over 10 years now, and I've been involved from the front line to regional efforts to national efforts and internationally. And I would put to you that the state of the health IT market is a bit of a mess at the moment. It's not delivering the value for healthcare. That is because of a disconnect between the standards bodies, the vendors, and the innovators, who are not working together as coherently as they could. Part of it is because of a vendor lock-in to make as much money as they can. Part of it is incompetence on the part of the different stakeholders, but certainly not enough coherence as much as there should be. So in my mind, there's no doubt there's a compelling case. If you're going to have a 21st century healthcare system, you need to underpin that with an open technology platform, and this has been coined in broader terms as the age of the platform. And obviously the underpinning principles of that platform, I would suggest, should be to get people to understand their processes, think about their requirements in terms of Lego bricks of functionality, and if you get those Lego bricks right, you can support a diverse variety of needs. So let me just then say, having come to that conclusion after 5 years of being left, I went back to this role in Leeds, and we had to look at the options. And the clear agreement was that we would go down middle tier approach, which was to integrate and build a portal. And we deliberately, or I, if you like, deliberately decided to make a play for this being open source. Built on open source technologies and releasing it open source, because I quite unashamedly was trying to say we need to positively disrupt the market. And so we began on that journey. Some 3 or 4 years later now, we have what's called, we're now beginning to call our Leeds EPR. And what it's doing essentially is pulling data from multiple systems. It's built on the work of our cancer colleagues, so there was already some of this work going on. And what it's doing is it's pulling data into a view for the users, where they can look at patients or clinics or MDT lists or wards, and you can look at the results of the patient or the letters of a patient. We have built it in such a way that you can build in other components, so it's open source front end where you can build in, there's a component from results order comes, the vendor called ICE. And most recently we've begun work on the patient list view, so you can see a list of patients on the ward, and then some other estimated date of discharge or length of stay, and then the beginnings of a task board there to get rid of the old whiteboards. So that's the latest development. And there's more screenshots of the components. The third element to it is to say we have single patient view, multi-patient view, and also reporting view. So this is intelligence view, where it's pulling data from multiple systems into a repository, and we can crush the numbers on that. Okay, so the way that's working at the moment is that I'm CCIO, but there's a clinical lead, Jeff Hall, we've agreed he's overseeing this development for us. So he's chairs the board for the EPR development. It's user-centered, so it's a small group, primarily led by Jeff and Joe Dixon, who's our nurse lead, and a small group of users that meet, and every 2 weeks they work towards agile sprints. So every 2 weeks there's a formal release. And that's been a rocky road to get over, but we're now in a reasonably effective place with that. We have an effort that's joint between the NHS and the commercial supplier from the city of Leeds, and that actually isn't the first supplier we set out with. So we haven't had one change of supplier already. The users never noticed that change because the code was always ours and always made made open source. So when one vendor and their service dropped, they lost that contract and another vendor got it. But we've managed to retain control and ownership and leadership of the approach because it has been open source code. Okay, so to extend that then, I took on a role, citywide role around Leeds health and social care, and then the idea of a Leeds care record came out of related discussion. So similar principles here: patient, citizen-centered record, information at point of care to support health and social care teams. And here this has been built on similar principles related to open standards. So we've got primary care at the table, secondary care at the table, social care, mental health, trust, and community care. And that group was already there in Leeds, and I was just, if you like, able to leverage them. So we agreed to start small and we tried to get a data set that would be not subject care record but locally agreed, quite similar, and we would control the data set. And we've had to agree not just the data set but an information sharing agreement across Leeds and get all those parties signed up to a legal agreement, and that has been painful. And it's taken us a year to get there. We've had legal opinions and so on, but we have now, as of only the last week, really got that everybody's agreed to sign up on that. And again, that I said is something we're happy to share and should be really used. Okay, the approach, which is really an extension of what we've already seen earlier, is essentially saying same principles apply. Let's integrate data from what we've got. Let's make it available by pulling data from, we have taken data from EMIS and we've taken data from view from System 1. And underpinning it, the idea would be that we would build some solid record architecture. So we're reusing at the moment the viewer that we have in the hospital. And what that's doing is it's pulling data from both EMIS and the TPP, who are both at the moment able to offer us HTML views of the data. We're able to embed that in the application. Now that's a HTML view at the moment, so it's limited in technical functionality, but it's useful in terms of clinicians. Useful. But we are constrained by capabilities here, because EMIS can send us structured data, which we can then model to other standards, whereas TPP are not able to do that yet. So we have a constraint there. But what we've done is taken the data from EMIS, we've pulled that data into the record architecture standard that I was alluding to earlier, the archetype standard. How many of you have heard of archetypes? Okay, so maybe not a little bit. But essentially, this is an international standards-based approach for defining records and clinical content in records. So we've done the mapping, we've pulled the data in from EMIS through the MIG, and we've taken the data set that they've got, we've mapped it to open air archetypes, and again, that is free for people to read. One quick slide on archetypes. Effectively, think of it as a clinically useful thing. It's a reusable list of clinical statements. Consider a maximum data set. We get everybody in the room and you say, right, what do you want? Blood pressure, and everybody throws in their bit, and then you can make that into a maximum data set. It is the advantage of being clinically intelligible as well as computable, and it is, in my mind, key to the future of healthcare computing. The next extension of that then was what's called the Leeds Innovation Lab. So I was getting hounded quite a bit by vendors saying, can we come and talk to you about Leeds? We've got interesting technology in Leeds and so on. So one of the ideas we had was, let's get people, process technology into a lab idea and say, we are building a record across the city based on these principles, and we'll open up a set of related APIs. And if you can showcase your technology against those APIs, then great. Maybe we can work with you. If you can't, then obviously there's an issue there. But it helps them to learn and us to learn. That's the idea. We launched it in November, but it has hit a block because nobody seems to want to fund it. But we've begun talks with you and Anti-Health about how we might take some of our thinking broader. So Leeds, the challenges I'm up against continue, and we're making some progress, as you can see. There's a lot of politics. There's been a recent change in the exec board, and people are beginning, this guy's asking me, why would we do this? Why would we buy one off the shelf? There's a large multinational company that have come to the cities to say they'll promise thousands of jobs if we wouldn't buy So those are the kind of politics that I'm up against, and it's not easy, to be honest. But that reflects the market. We have businesses that are trying to change, but organizational readiness and maturity isn't quite what it should be. And technology maturity isn't quite there either. I mentioned already one of the main suppliers who can't share structured data, you can only share HTML. So we are in the early days of this movement. But thankfully, I want to put the slide up to give credit to NHS England for legitimizing, if you like, the push for open source. And to me, I'm very appreciative of this because what might have seemed like a Lone Ranger approach to be doing 3 or 4 years ago is now seems to be reasonable. And actually, to be fair to NHS England and the open source program, I think this puts the NHS back as a lead internationally in this space. But obviously, there's work to do. But I'm very glad this is happening over here today. And I hope what Leeds is trying to do, this is just one city trying to do this, is become part of an ecosystem. I keep using that term ecosystem because we can only contribute to the greater effort. We don't have all the solutions it needs, but by contributing to it, hopefully it will learn. Okay. Now, I'm just going to finish with Leeds, and I'm going to take a trip across the Atlantic if I can, to talk about related stuff around the transatlantic vista of open source. I'm Irish and based in Dublin now, and essentially I've been keeping an eye on both sides for some time. So I talked to you already about the state of the market. We have thousands and thousands of applications on the left-hand side, and we have some of the biggest vendors internationally in the US, like Epic and Vista and Cerner and so on. And yet, if you look at the state of the market in both sides of the Atlantic, both sides are trying to move towards this more modular service area architecture approach. And I'll just tell you 2 things. Have anybody else heard of the Healthcare Platform Services Consortium? Yeah. Okay. So this is an interesting movement, which has been led by a guy called Stan Buck from Intermountain Healthcare. Stan Buck is one of the leaders in the science of informatics and has been doing so for many years. He's leading this. Effectively, the bottom line is that it's an open standards-based push on a service-oriented architecture because they want a new market for interoperable healthcare applications to do what? To improve the quality and decrease the cost of healthcare in the US. And if you look at some of the people who are there, to give them credit, Intermountain, Stan Buck is leading this, Cerner are there, which is good to see. Harris or another are also named. There are several of them that are named. And what they're effectively trying to do is, we've got clinical element models here. They're really trying to get towards a very similar open record architecture and standard-based approach to healthcare systems. It's well worth a look at what these guys are doing. Okay. I wanted to mention that before I talked about the VA, because the VA have been leading this thinking for many years in the US. And the VA, if you don't know about them, are kind of the closest things to the NHS in the US healthcare system. That book is a great book about their story of a transformation from a crumbling healthcare system that delivered healthcare to their veterans to one that was transformed over 50 years. And key to that success was the Vista system that you've heard mentioned already. And that's the interesting thing, actually, if you look at it, is that what you've come now to on both sides of the Atlantic is the NHS and the VA both agreed that actually the future is open source. So the VA has set up Osera, which is the open source electronic healthcare record agent, and they have essentially, they're trying to build promote and progress the development of Vista by open source means. And these people have a lot of money, and they're not, they're security conscious and obviously aware of the risks, but they are doing it not because it's cheaper, not because it's easy, but because it's the best way to do this. And for me, what I'm doing, if you like, is looking at both sides. And what we have is we've got lots of camps. We have a divide, if you like, of the Atlantic. We've got a lot of interesting efforts on this side of the Atlantic and a major effort on the other side of the Atlantic, where they are different. They are different camps aiming at the same issue. So what I did was do some looking, if you like, at the common ground. agree there's a need for an open platform. No argument there. It really seems to be, everybody I mentioned there seems to get it. One challenge is that no matter what you're doing in the Western world now, you're very rarely going into a greenfield site. Okay, so you have to take it to a ground integration, and you can't be asking people to rip and replace. So you have to do something about integration challenge, Vista. At least taking that into account before you go into anything. You've got a challenge with code and community. So if you've looked under the hood of Vista, and you've looked at months, it is labyrinthine is the best description I can give for it, and that's polite. It's tough stuff to get your head around. There is something about months that is deeply interesting, but how many of you have got a negative perception of months? How many of you have a positive perception of months? Good. Okay, that's
I should have put my hand up for both, actually.
Yeah, okay. So I would say that months is a technology that is actually deeply interesting but very misunderstood, very poorly marketed, if you don't mind me saying so, Joseph, by the Vista community. They just do not know how to market this to the greater group. And so it suffers badly. It's actually very interesting technology that may be ideally fit with healthcare, but people don't understand it because it has not been properly explained at all. And then you've got the challenge around UI and usability. So Vista in its current form doesn't look great from a usability point of view. Everybody here wants nice, new, shiny tablet-based apps and so on. These are common challenges though. So everybody shares those challenges. So for me, one of the things that I made a case for back in September and November was to say, why don't we try to do something that's joining things up around, let's take the usability. Let's try to take NHS common user interface and RCP headings, and let's see what that might look like in a business system. One of the ideas we're looking at. There's also interesting overlap in the idea of web services. So VA are very advanced in their thinking there. They've done Meadows, VSA. They've now got a Smart Evolution program going on, which is effectively opening Vista with a whole host of web services. Equally in the NHS, we're seeing open APIs being talked about, promoted, and so on, so that you end up with kind of more hackable platforms. So there really is potential for common ground here. And then there's this challenge around persistence. So months, there's actually probably the most convincing argument I've heard from this. Months would be a great database for healthcare. Maybe not the language side of it isn't so good, but the database is a very good fit. It's a very flexible database. Mind you, Vista doesn't have very good models in terms of nothing of the semantic tidiness and coherence of archetypes. At least in my view, it's not that easy to dissect them out. So there's interesting common ground there. And so one of the things I've been doing was trying to look at where that common ground is. And I need to draw your attention to one guy who's here today, but Rob Tweed, based in Reigate, not far from here, who's at the leading edge of this, by the way. He's doing some work in web-based technology and how do you use technology like JavaScript and Node to make the best use of progressing Vista. And there's two projects to mention to you. One is a 10-day project I did with him about 18 months ago, where I and a developer called Chris Casey effectively whipped up a clinical application in 10 days using some of this technology. And then, just after EHI last November, we did a project to show what effort might be required to get Vista into the NHS, as along the lines I mentioned. So this involved me and another guy in the States who's a clinician for Billings from Midsphere, two developers on each side. So we did work over 20 days. We took, it was all virtual, remote stuff. And so we built a NHS Vista demonstrator on top of Vista in 20 days. So here is what the three levels. One is a charting view, which shows the number of patients in each ward. This is a department view, again, just shows the patient list. And then here's a view which shows RCP headings on the left, which don't necessarily come out there very well, but the RCP headings are there, so the companies with face numbers are there for the patient banner. And these are the vital signs of the business system. And this is the OH.